year of kind of getting that pairing back together, considering the momentum you guys had when you worked together before?
Yeah, certainly RFK. We're having a really busy off season with number of personnel changes, with the 6 team, and then adding another car with the 60 with Ryan Preece and Kroger and a slew of sponsors that we're adding. So really busy off season, but a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm and excitement, and a lot of feelings like this is the next step for us to grow as a company, and more importantly, grow in our results.
What drove the crew chief change on your particular car?
There's a number of things, and I'm not really looking to get into detail, but when there's top talent available, we feel fortunate enough to be able to hire it. So,
what made this the right time to make the jump to 3 cars?
I feel like our first year at Next Gen was not very successful at RFK. And we stumbled quite a bit and started to get some traction towards the middle to end of 23. From there it was kind of like we recognize that's the next step. If you look at the way NASCAR's set up right now, you need to have 3 teams. I think that's why you see the track houses and the 2311 and all those guys are pushing to be 3 teams, even front row. There's strength in numbers with just the way the sport's laid out and how you can kind of amortize the overhead and capture the most data. So it's important for us to be, not just financially viable, but competitively viable, to have 3 teams and maximize the opportunities on any given weekend. So it's a natural next step for us to get us to where we can ramp up our performance.
What do you see in Ryan Preece that makes you optimistic that he'll be able to succeed at RFK?
Talent, underrated, hardworking, everything you could dream of a coachable player. So, I think the ball's in our court to give him the right opportunity and equipment and surround him with the right people to succeed.
What is it like to goes into its 4th year next year, Brian? Where do you want to see the company next year? Is there milestones? What
yes and no. I mean, Kelly, I'd say we want to win races. We want to win more races. We've won 6 races over the last 3 seasons, or 6 playoff or point counting races, so not the exhibitions, but so 6 point paying races over the last 3 seasons, and we want to be able to do that in one season. That'd be a good mark for us. And certainly, we want to put all of our cars in the playoffs. So there are some measurables, but ultimately we want to be in the conversation with one of our cars, and hopefully more than one of our cars on any given race weekend for being able to win. So we have shown a lot of progress there. And this is the next step to be more consistent.
So it feels like it's closer than it is farther away?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, there's a lot of challenges, no doubt, but we just continue to improve as an organization.
You're a guy who's knowledgeable about the sport and everything in its history. What is it like to be the one to bring back the number 60?
Yeah, the number 60 has a lot of heritage to Jack Roush and particularly Mark Martin in the what's now the NASCAR Xfinity Series. In the Cup Series, probably not as prestigious, but that's okay. It matters to us, and it kind of fits our brand.
You mentioned Preece being coachable, but you've got Buescher and yourself. What's your role in that coachable moment for as a driver, but also as a team owner, to bring somebody and to have your other guys there for you?
What's my role?
Yeah, how do you handle that? I mean, where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as an owner or a driver? Or
yeah, both. I want him to be successful, and I wouldn't have brought him in if I didn't think he could be. But I feel a large role in helping him get there and showing him different things to be better as a driver, but then also giving him the right stuff around him, equipment-wise and team member-wise.
What's the one thing about Preece that might have been missing that you guys can give him to get him over the edge to get that win and to run up front more?
I can't say one thing. There's just some edges that we want to clean up, and we think he's got the right mentality to get there.
So reuniting conversation with Preece start.
Gosh, I guess I called him this last May or April or May. So we've been working on it for a while for sure.
Your operating expenses haven't exactly increased by 50%. Who's minding the checkbook, and what's more stress on you, a team owner or driver?
Yeah, as a company, RFK, we're 3 entities that have come together. So our company, Lewis, runs off of a board of directors, and we all manage it.
I guess
what was the other question?
Yeah, how do you handle the stress, though? Because the bottom line here is the bottom line.
Yeah, I mean, there's financials and there's always constraints. All businesses have them, particularly in motorsports. We push the budget pretty hard. And it's, part of how race teams compete is making the most out of every dollar. So, we just try to be as efficient as we can be. And, I'm fortunate to have some really good people that carry their weight.
Brad, what is it that makes Jeremy kind of the right guy to work with you? Because I know you've had significant success in the past.
Yeah, it's hard to always define what makes a great working relationship, but it's easy to point at the results. The results have been there throughout my entire career. I've worked with him and had fast race cars and won races, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of how he leads the team.
So I guess on Lewis's question, your role, and what you do day to day versus what you do on the weekend, how does that factor into decisions you make with the team on the track, etc.?
It just means I have the tightest feedback loop in NASCAR. I know on any given weekend what's real and what's not real because I drove the car. It's a supreme advantage that I'm fortunate to have.
Melding a driver and a crew chief is very delicate's not the word I'm looking for. So, I mean, do you go right back to where you were with Jeremy, or some years have passed? So.
Yeah, years have passed, but there's still a friendship that never goes. I'm confident we'll be able to learn from the years we had apart and apply lessons bilaterally.
Tell old Penske jokes?
Old Penske jokes? He's probably got a few more on me than I got on him.
Bob's here. You can tell him about your team now.
Bob! Did you like our video, Bob?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It wasn't my idea, but I liked it.
Yeah, it wasn't too hard for you to do either. Just
No, it
you got it done. If you can knock out social media content in like 2 to 3 minutes, that's a good thing for you, right?
I have this discussion with our team all the time, Bob. We have social media projects we work on for like hours or days, and you put it out there and nobody watches it, and you're like, oh. Then you have ones that you work on for like 30 seconds, like, let's see, and people love it. I don't know what works.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
You and me both. We're in the same boat.
Yeah, you have projects you work on for days and nobody likes them, nobody follows them, and then ones you're like, hey, here's a banana.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Million views.
yeah.
Someone sold a banana taped to a wall for $5.2 million.
Well, that's kind of where my joke was from. Yes, yeah, banana taped in. Elon Musk put one in a rocket, but people thought it was great. I don't know what works. Here's an in-depth story with all these lines and interesting. Like 100 people read it. Yeah.
Put a banana on a race car.
Yeah.
there you go.
That's what we should do. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Back to Jocko Flapp.
I'll tape it.
There you go.
Yeah, tape it.
Get a monkey.
Those
in
are your
this.
people in New York. They like bananas taped up against walls apparently.
Hey.
How do you look at the playoff format? Joey Logano said he didn't want it changed. Obviously, he won the championship.
Yeah.
With tweaks potentially coming, what tweaks would you like to see, if any?
Oh, Claire, I don't get to make the decision.
But if you did,
If I did,
think big.
I'm a bit of a traditionalist in some ways, but I'm also I have this yearning for the points format of decades past, which is probably unrealistic. But if I had my complete druthers,
Complete.
like if Jim France called me and said, Brad, you're in charge.
King for a day.
King for a day, yeah.
After you curl up in the fetal position and then think about it for a while.
Yeah, no kidding. I honestly think that the points format should be reflective on wins, and the tiebreakers should be the final race, and that should be it. I have a hard time as a competitor and a fan of the sport understanding how drivers with most wins routinely don't win championships, and I just don't think that feels right to me. So I would like to see, if there were any format changes, more value on race wins as a whole through the duration of the season.
And then people say, well, the NFL, the team that,
We're not the NFL. I don't know why.
So it's totally
we
different,
keep
so.
getting caught up in comparisons to other sports. We're, in a lot of ways, we're better. We have all of our competitors on compete against each other every week. We have incredible fan access, great partners. I don't want to be the NFL. I don't want to be hockey. I don't want to be MLB. I don't want to be any of those sports. I want to be us. And if we can be the best us we can be, I think people will like that.
But the next gen has increased maybe some parity, made wins potentially more difficult. Do you think because of that there should be change, or that has kind of tweaked what we've seen the last few years?
If anything, on the Drivers' Championship, the next gen lends itself even more so to rewarding race wins, because it's to some degree less car specific than it used to be. You know, if a car gets ahead of somebody in the development cycle, right? I don't know, it's my 2 cents. Not that anybody cares, but you asked.
Well,
you didn't even ask. Claire asked.
Well, it sounds like NASCAR's looking at it. I mean, at least.
I don't know. I can't speak to that, but you know, it's hard. You know, I think we have media partners who really, really think the playoffs are great, and you know, it's important to make them happy, and there's some sentiment from fans about it as well that, you know, is important to recognize. So it's a difficult situation.
I mean, do you race differently? If the wins are 20 more points or 30 more points, does it push you to do?
Yes and no. I mean, I'd rather just not have points at all. Like I don't understand why we have to have those, but I'd rather just go off of season wins, and you know, if points are some form of tiebreaker, that's great. If not, okay.
So do you
feel you have Richmond every week?
Yeah, and then I don't know. I like my preference is making a season where every race matters, and I think that's important for our fans too, whether that is something we're always cognizant of or not.
So you feel like maybe like Joey and Blaney have become 2 different parts of maybe like a Jimmy Johnson type, where their teams know how to work the system when it's time to win a championship, whereas like a guy like Larson wins a lot of races but may not get there as often as.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for that. You know, that they've optimized around the format, and you know, they deserve credit for that.
Trenton Worsham with Frontstretch.com. Come back for more great racing videos, and if you like us, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.